Hi and welcome to your next at-home workout. I am, as always, going to demo the exercises before we get warmed up, so you can have a go, or at least you can watch before having a go at them. You know what you're doing. This is a cool workout. It's all based on contrasts. So we are going to do some fairly plain and simple body weight movements. And then what we're going to do is we're going to contrast them up by doing the more dynamic or plyometric versions of them, which is basically taking the base movement and making it move at speed and with power. So it's going to be quite a high intensity one. We're going to move quite fast through it to keep heart rate and breathing rate up. If you need to slow it down or pause me, that's absolutely fine. As always, working at your own pace. As I demo, I'm going to give some alternatives you can do. So if you can't do a particular move, there are other things you can try. Now, my demos aren't going to be in order of the way we're going to be doing them, purely because I need to come outside the dining room that I'm in now to the stairs to be able to show you some of the movements. But then when I do them as part of the workout, I'm going to do them in here on my steps rather than moving in and out. So the version you'll do, you're going to use your stairs. If you haven't got stairs, if you live in a bungalow or your stairs aren't accessible, or you just can't do the movement, I'll show you some alternatives for those as well. So let's get going. The first thing I'm going to show you is a stair jump and a stair step up. So as you can see, stairs. For this one, you need to make sure that this is safe. 2, you're capable of doing the movement and you're confident doing the movement. 3, you aren't going to be obstructed and you're not going to injure yourself doing it. I'm going to use my second step up. You can use the first. As I said, in the workouts, I'm going to stay in the dining room and use my steps rather than moving the camera in and out. And for these purposes, I am going to put the camera here. And as I said, I'm going to be using the second step of my stairs, but you can use the first if you want to. So the first thing we're going to do is called a stair jump. And our stair jump is basically a big jump up to the second step. So you're powering up, you're using your knees, you're using your hips, and you are jumping up to the second step or up to the first. So keep your knees nice and soft. Land nice and soft, excuse that massive thump. So you want to be really using your power to jump up. If you're feeling incredibly powerful, you could try the third step. I was about to try the third step. I'm not that brave. I don't want to fall flat on my face on camera and have that recorded forever. But you could do. The second thing I'm going to show you on the step, and for both of these, I'm going to show you a version in the dining room, is a step if you can't use your stairs. It's a step up. And for this one, you're putting your foot on the second step, or the first if you need to. You are leaning your weight right forward and you are pushing up through your front leg and then coming back down. Now this is going to sound weird, but what I want you to do is try your very hardest not to use your back foot to push you up. Now this is hard purely because you don't realise, but every time you walk upstairs, you use your back foot to help propel yourself up. It's just ingrained, it's how we move. So this is why I get you to put your weight right forward, because that makes it easier to put all of the exertion through this front leg. This takes quite a lot of practice, so to start with, you won't feel like you're doing it right, and to be honest, you probably won't be doing it right, but that's absolutely fine as long as you are leaning right forward and trying as hard as you can just to use that front leg to push up. If you need to use a handrail or a wall to support yourself, that's absolutely fine. Now, if you don't have stairs, if you're not comfortable doing those movements, then what you can do is you can come into a room with a little bit of space, bend your knees, and just a big leap forwards. And for the step ups, you can start by kneeling down on the floor. One leg up is called a half kneel position. Lean forward and just push through that front leg and come back down. So you're coming back down to your knee. And this is equally challenging because your weight will be forward and you'll be using that front leg to work as much as possible. And those are really good for working the quads, really good for single leg strength because you're pushing all of your body weight up. Or you can just use a bottom step or a lower level if you want to. So that's those. Next, squats and squat jumps. So I'm going to use a prisoner squat because for anyone that struggles to keep their back nice and upright, this is going to work really well. Sending hips back, getting as low down into the movement as possible, and then coming back up. Then we have a squat jump, which is the same thing, but jumping up as high as you can. So that's going to be our first contrast round. Our second contrast round includes press-ups. So for these at-home videos, I use a version of a press-up that is predominantly shoulders rather than chest because it's an easier position to get into. And yeah, you can do it fairly confidently without worrying too much about your forearms and where your elbows are coming. So for our press-up, sorry, shutting the door, either on feet, knees, arms out nice and wide, fingers facing forward, and dropping down so that your elbows are staying at about 90 degrees. Now I don't mind whether on your feet or your knees, but either way, as always, in a plank position, staying nice and rigid through your core and maintaining that really strong position. Now, once we've done that, our contrast for this is a band press. So coming up, grabbing your trusty resistance bands, you're going to be anchoring them in your jaw at around shoulder height. Pull against the anchor point to make sure it's nice and stable because you don't want that to be moving as you are doing the exercise. Now, as always, and as I've said in most of these videos and in the resistance band setup, ideally you want to be using a door that opens in the opposite direction from which you're pulling. Unfortunately, I don't have access to one of those and the space to be able to film where they do open the other way. So if you, like me, are working in a space where the door opens in the same direction that I'm pulling, then make sure you're using something in front of the door. So if for any reason it does pop open, the bands, one, aren't going to hit you in the back of the head or the face, and two, if you're putting your weight into the movement, you're not going to fall forwards. Make sure the door is really firmly shut and that it is as secure as possible. I mean, I can't do anything about my situation, but just make sure you're safe. So with our band press, I like to have the resistance bands coming under my arms because otherwise they annoy me as they move. And then what we're going to do is get some nice resistance on the band, and we're pushing forwards and then really controlling the backward movement of the band. And as I've said before, because of the nature of resistance bands, they're elastic, so they are going to fight to pull you back to their starting position. If you don't control the back, they are going to jerk your arms back very hard and you are going to be at risk of injuring your shoulders. So it is absolutely vital that we are controlling that backward movement nicely. As always, you want to have enough resistance for it to be a challenge, but not so much resistance that pullback is impossible to control. So play a little bit with the bands that you use and the distance you are from the anchor point, because you want it to be challenging, but also you want it to be safe. So that's our next set of contrasts. After that, we have an overhead reverse lunge, and then we are contrasting it into a lunge with a knee jump. So our reverse lunge is the same as a lunge, but rather than stepping forwards, we're stepping backwards. An overhead lunge is where you've got your hands above your head, which is giving you more of a challenge with balance and core. I'm going to do 12 on each leg, or you can do 24 alternating, so you get the same number on each leg. Then what we're going to do, and also with your lunge, if you can't do the overhead bit, keep the hands down. If you need to hold on to something for balance, keep your hands down, that's fine. If you can't get your knee all the way to the floor, because ideally with all of our lunges, keeping knees at roughly 90 degrees and getting our back knee as low down as I can. If you can't get your back knee down to the floor, that's absolutely fine, but work within your range of motion that's safe, but that's giving you a bit of a challenge. Now our contrast for this is a good one. And we're keeping with that reverse lunge. If you're having problems with balance, stay nice and close to something you can hold on to, because we're reverse lunging back, and then we're bringing that back knee up and jumping. Now, if you can't control the jump, then do a reverse lunge back, and then bring your back knee up, but leave the jump out. Work to your level, but make sure you are challenging yourself. So that's our next contrast. And then after this, we have some rows. So resistance bands in the door. We are getting nice tension on the bands, pulling back, and we're doing those for 12. And then, so as always with our rows, stroking our arms against our body, pulling back with the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades nice and hard at the back. And we're going to contrast this with a movement called a compound row. And with our compound row, leaning your hands out in front of you, hinging your hips back, so pushing your hips back as far as you can until your head is kind of between your arms. You want your back nice and flat, and then we're pulling up and pulling back into a row, and then we're returning to our hip hinge position. Now the reason this is a contrast is because when we do it for real, you're going to be going really fast. So it's really important in that one that you control the movement and maintain good form, but move as fast as you can. Should look a little bit like this. Sending those hips back as far as you can. So those are our movements. Make sure you've got a drink. Make sure you've got a towel. And we will get going. So let's get started for our warm-up. As always, jogging on the spot to get going. You know why, we've done this often enough. If you're new to the workouts or you're new to the services that I provide, we warm up because we want to get the muscles nice and elastic. We want everything to be working really well. We stretch out through the chest by bringing our arms nice and far back. And then we're rotating through the shoulders. Doesn't matter which way you're going, because you're going to be changing direction in a minute anyway. And the other way. But always nice to get nice and prepared. If you can't jog it out, do a brisk march. And I want you to do high knees. If you can't do high knees, do marching high knees like so. And then into some butt kicks. And then we are rotating through the hips. Now, as always with these workouts, you get out what you put in. I'm going to be doing 3 rounds. If you've got more time to do more rounds, then absolutely go for it. So grab yourself your weight or your tin of beans, and we're going to finish off our movement prep. We're going to start by swinging whatever it is you're using above your head. You don't need to use a tin of beans or a weight, you can just do the movement, but having the weight just gives you something to hold on to. And then we're holding it at chest, squatting down, so sending hips back, pushing forwards. We're going to be doing a lot of these types of movements through the session. So we want to get nice and warm so our body is ready to go. And then lunging down and just bringing the weight down in front of you. Let me just adjust the phone so you can see my feet a bit better. Now with these, we're not doing a full-on lunge. We're just bringing bum down, bending knees, and then tapping the floor in front of you. Trying to maintain a nice straight back. And then finally, hands out in front of you and rotating round. And I start keeping my feet planted and my hips forward. And then I release my heels off the floor and let everything move round. And you should be nice and warm and ready to go. Put my weight back. Make sure my exercise tracker is on, because I'm a big fan of tracking my workouts. And we are ready to go. So we are starting with squats and squat jumps. And we're going for 12 squats and then 20 squat jumps. So prisoner style, keeping your back nice and straight, sending your hips back. Getting as low down into the movement as you can. And then after you've done your 12, into your squat jumps, of which we have 20. Powering through, getting as high as you can. That's my 20. Then we're going into press-ups and band presses. So I'm going to bring the phone down, doing 12 of the press-ups. And then up for band presses, which we have 20, and they're going to be fast, because it's all about contrast. Go. Controlling the back. Make sure you're standing the right distance. And rest. After this, we have our overhead reverse lunges, excuse me, and then our lunge jumps. So I'm going to do 12 on each leg, and then swap. Use your hands to steady yourself if you can. That's my 12 on one side into 12 on the other. Then into our lunges with knee jumps. Leave the jump out if you need to. Go. And we're doing 12 on each leg. 3, 4. I used to use my arms to drive up, swap. Should be quite intense. Don't jump if you can't. Use your range of motion. 2, 3, 4. This is my weaker leg. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Grab a drink. Take a quick rest. Because we're using dynamic moves, alternated with more regular movements, brings your heart rate up, breathing rate up. As always, work to your own capacity. Next we have rows, followed by our compound rows. So 12 rows, stroking your arms, down by your body. Big squeeze of the shoulder blades behind you. We're going for 12 of these. This is my 9. If it's too easy, move back. That's 12. Coming straight down for our compound rows, of which we have 20. Hips hinging back, head in between your arms, and go. Halfway through. Quick drink, quick rest. And then we have step ups, followed by stair jumps, or in my case, step jumps. I'm going to move these back, because otherwise I am horribly close to the camera. So foot up, make sure your whole foot is on whatever surface you're stepping against. Weight right forward and pushing up without using your back foot to propel yourself. Takes a lot of concentration. Should feel it quite quickly through your front thigh. And then swapping legs. Now it's common to have one leg that it's easier to balance and easier to do things on than the other, and that's absolutely fine. Exercises like this are really good for helping iron out some of those discrepancies, because you're doing single leg work. Oh, excuse me. As you can tell, this is my weaker side. And that's going to help bring both limbs up to similar positions. Now, we have jumps, and we're going for 12. Jump with confidence. I'll be honest, I chickened out then at the last minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you jump, try and get your whole foot onto whatever you're jumping on. I'm stepping down, but you can jump back if you want to, as long as you feel in control. So that, my friends, end of round 1. We have that twice more. hot, sweaty, tired. Little rest, little drink. Now you may notice as we progress that my form isn't looking as good, and it's purely because this is the third lot of at-home workouts I've recorded today. So I'm starting to get sore and tired. However, I want you guys to focus on form, keeping good pace but maintaining the best form that you can and being safe while you do it. So into round 2, back to our prisoner squats and go. Keeping this nice and slow, keeping our descent nice and controlled, sending our hips back and getting as low into the movement as you can. I'm on 10, so 2 more. Last one. Getting out of the way of the light fitting and squat jumps, going for 20. If you can't squat jump, do a squat and just launch yourself a little bit. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouchity, ouch. Thighs. It's all about the thighs. So, down for press ups. Grab a quick drink if you need to. Going for the variation that you can keep good form in, but still challenges you. I'm going to start on my toes, may drop down to my knees because form is dropping as I'm so tired. But you keep up with whatever you can. Making sure elbows are stopping at about 90 degrees. And up for band presses. And these ones, nice and fast. Going for 20. And go. Oh my goodness. Oh, jelly everything. So now we have our lunges. I'm going to grab a quick drink. Do them facing this way this time. So I've got arms up overhead, 12 on each leg. Getting your back knee down as low as you can without hitting it on the floor. Now, as everyone knows, I can't count and talk at the same time. I think that was 8. I'm going to go for 2 more. And then I'm going to swap. As I said before, keep your arms up over your head as it increases the challenge. If you can't, bring them down. If you need to hold on to something to steady yourself, that's absolutely fine. Last one. Arms down. We're coming in to this lunge with knee jump. Again, doing 12 on each leg. You'll do it from the side so you can see how it looks this way. Using my arms to balance and propel up. 9, 10, 11, 12. Swapping over. Checking I'm still vaguely in shot. 2, 3, 4, 5. Wobbling. Just correct when you do. And rest. Quick drink. Oh, if I'm this wobbly on this round, the next round, it's going to be super fun. Feel free to point and laugh when I fall over. Right, into our rows. 12 to start with. Nice and slow and controlled. This almost becomes your active recovery in between the more dynamic movements. So use it to bring your breathing back under control, which will help control your heart rate. And then straight down for our compound rows. So hinging the hips back, and we're going for 20. I'm not looking forward to this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hips back. Halfway. 18, 19, 20, and rest. Quick drink, mop down if you need to. And then we're going into everyone's favourites, step ups and step jumps. Let's do it. 12 on each leg. Pushing your weight forwards. So you're not using that back foot to push you up. Do your 12. Everyone knows I can't count and talk at the same time. I'm going to have done in the region of 12. And then swap legs. So as I've said before, if you need to use a lower step, that's fine. If you need to use the kneeling on the floor version, that's absolutely fine too. As long as it's challenging you, I don't mind which variation you use. It just needs to be a challenge. 12 step jumps. I'll try not to chicken out this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Using your arms to power up. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And rest. So, we have one more round. Mop off if you need to. Oh my goodness. So, now I've had a little bit of a break, a little bit of a rest. Oh, everything's tired, everything hurts. Maintain your form as well as you can. Work as hard as you can whilst you're safe doing the exercises. If your form has completely fallen apart, either drop to an easier variation, or you can rest and come back to it, or you can stop now. However, if you get to the end of this round and feel amazing, crack right on. Right, we are back into our prisoner squats. Back nice and straight, getting as low down as you can. Let's go. Stay nice and slow in this portion of the exercise. Hips back and down. Now I make that 10, so I've got 2 more. There's never any guarantee that that's how many I've actually done. And then 20 squat jumps. Thank goodness this is the last round. 1, 5, 6, 7. Powering up. 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm going to grab a little drink. Coming down for press-ups. As I said in the second round, and as I've been saying all the way through, do the variation that you can keep good form in, but still provides a challenge. So I normally go up on my toes, but as I said, I am tired and everything is sore. So if it gets too much, I'm going to drop down to my knees. Only go for 12. So let's see how we go. Okay. Whether you're on your knees or your toes, maintaining that plank position. Okay, up for our 20 band presses. So these, as always, go nice and fast, but maintaining control. Don't let the bands pull your arms back too fast. Nearly there. Oh, oh, oh. That was 20. And man alive, that really hurt. Okay, so just letting the feeling come back to my arms, and we're going in to our lunges with overhead hold, and then our reverse lunges with knee jumps. 12 on each side. The end is in sight, guys. We are nearly there. Stick with it. So I'm going to do it from this side so you can see. my 12, so I'm swapping over. Keeping your hands up if you can. Then coming in for our reverse lunges with knee jumps. Nearly there. You are so close. Right, let's do this. Halfway through. Two more. Last one. Same on the other side. Last lot of these. Unless you're going again, which I'm not. Use your arms to help you push up. Halfway. Two more. Last one. Okay. Hate those. Hate those. Right now. Oh my glutes. Oh my quads. Ow. Right. Last on the bands. Nearly there. Got our rows. 12. Nice and slow. Use them as your recovery. Then our compound rows. Keeping your arms nice and close to your sides. Really focusing on squeezing the shoulder blades at the back. That's my 12 into compound rows. Last lot of these. Bloody good job. Let's do this. Eight, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, right. Very last exercise before we get stretched off. As I said, unless you are planning on doing another round, in which case you are quite clearly a rock star. So, foot on the step, whole foot on the step, weight right forward and go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Swapping legs. We are so close. So close. 1, 2, 3, 4. Never sure what to do with my hands. 5, 6. If you've got balance issues, hold them out. If you need to hold on to something, that's fine. 11 and 12. Right, last bit. 12 of these stair jumps. Right, let's do this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and rest. Well done. That's a tough one. Let me just move these steps before I fall over them. Yeah, that's a toughie. So good job. If you're doing an extra round, that's amazing. If not, it's time to cool down. Start with shoulders. Oh, I like that one. I like the contrast because you're utilising the muscles for the movement, and then you're hitting them with the same type of movement but moving at pace, or adding resistance, or adding a jump. So you're hitting the same muscles but in a slightly different way. So that one is a bit of a cracker of a workout. Hands behind, stretching out through the chest. Release, roll your shoulders. Coming into a glute stretch, so bringing your ankle over the opposite knee, holding on to something so you can really lean back and down into the stretch. Should be feeling it through your glute and your hamstring or your bum cheeks and the back of your thigh on the side where your leg is up. Release. Then we're going to go into quads. So bringing your heel up to your bottom, knees together, hips out. Getting a nice stretch through the front of your thighs, otherwise known as your quads. Same on the other side. And releasing. Finally, we've got hamstrings. So 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, bending the back knee, really tilting the hips so you get a nice long stretch. Reaching down, bringing your toes up, and then same on the other side. And toes up. And you are all done. Well done. I hope you've enjoyed it. Any feedback, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.